Hello, yes, this is Candy.
Yeah, so
what did you say your name was again?
I'm Lieutenant Christian Coates with the Gretna Police Department. I understand you called for Sergeant Costa. He's actually off tonight, but I'm his lieutenant. And I understand you were calling in reference to an incident that happened in February.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure. What is it that I can help you with?
Well, I'm homeless. Excuse me, I'm homeless, and I was by a vacant house by 936 Huey P. Long, and I didn't know it was illegal for me to stay there. I'm a homeless, but mostly nowhere to go. But now I have a hotel room right now. But I didn't have help with a hotel room that night. Well, those few nights, and for 3 nights, I stayed there, and nobody, multiple police officers passed by, and nobody said anything. See that? See that doing noise harassment, noise campaign. So, um, nobody said anything, and then the in the middle of the night, it was a couple of officers. I wish they would stop. It was a couple of officers. I didn't know their names then, but Officer Allison Christiana and Officer Allison Christiana and also Officer Michelle Richards. They passed by the house and turned around, and then like they came on a like drove down the wrong direction to get to me, and then they got out of the vehicle and confronted me, and I didn't know that I didn't realize because I had stayed. Come on, man, stop! It's outside. I'm sorry, they're doing that. So I excuse me, I had so I had that loud beat with the truck backing up. They distracted me. Um, so so then the like they confronted me. Y'all, they doing this on purpose. They confronted me like very confrontational, and I was confused. Um, I was confused when I was you know when they approached me, and they were ready for confrontation, and they asked me what I was doing, and I said I was homeless with nowhere to go, and you know they started cussing out me and threatening me and stuff, and so they excuse me excuse me, so they told me to get my stuff, and the moment I started to pick up my stuff, then they said don't pick up my stuff, and then I was like, well, hello.
I'm sorry, you're listening.
Oh, okay. So it was like I asked, they said don't pick up my stuff, and then I went to try to proceed to pick up my stuff anyway, because they were already like cussing me out and threatening me and stuff. And so then they flashed their lights at me, like the flashlights at me, and then I went down the stairs. I did not go inside of the house. I was just right outside the porch because I didn't know of anywhere else to go, and being homeless with nowhere to go. And a few days prior, they had some people, these younger people, harassing me, and
Let's focus on what the officers did that night. Is this a complaint you're trying to make? I don't understand. Do you just need more information, or do you have a complaint?
yeah, I'm making a complaint.
Okay, what is your complaint, ma'am?
So the complaint is that while I'm explaining to you what they're doing.
Right, but like in general, did the officers use excessive force? Did they
Well, I'm making a complaint about, yes, excessive force and violence, and threats and cursing me out. They grabbed my phone and threw my phone. They grabbed my phone and threw my phone, and cracked my phone, and one of the officers, when she went to go up and get my stuff, she would you know she was she stumped on my jacket. She kept kicking and stumping my jacket, and then deliberately dragged my jacket on the ground on purpose. And I remember her kicking. She kicked my backpack, to the best of my memory. I don't remember everything, but they kept on making threats to throw me to the ground. They kept on making threats to slam me on the ground, and everything. And I didn't know that it was, that it was illegal to stay there, since it said for sale. Because when I was in Pensacola, Florida, I had stayed at places that said for sale, for lease, or whatever, and never got bothered.
Florida is different than Louisiana. You cannot be on someone's property without permission. Okay.
Well, I didn't know that.
And that's okay, but unfortunately, when it comes to criminal statutes, ignorance of the law is not a defense. Okay. So what happens is we go forward with the arrest. Now, if the officer told you to not pick up your things and you disregarded that lawful order and you tried to pick up your belongings, even though they told you not to, I'm sure that is going to escalate the situation because that's non-compliance on your part.
But the thing was, they were already cussing at me and threatening me and stuff.
Okay, well, give me an example of a threat they made.
Threatening to slam me to the ground.
So they said, I'm going to slam you to the ground.
Multiple times.
Okay. Did they say, if you pick up your things, you're going to get slammed on the ground?
I honestly don't even remember offhand, but even after I went downstairs, and even after I went downstairs, they were still threatening me and stuff. And they jerked my phone out of my hand and slammed my phone to the ground.
Andy, so this is how I can move forward with the complaint, okay? All of my officers wear body cameras, which record audio and video of the incidents that they handle, okay? I'll review the body camera footage, and I will check for any violations of civil rights and or violations of department policy, okay? Once I'm doing that, I'll be able to determine if any of the officers violated any of your civil rights or they violated any department policy. In the meantime, if you have damage to your property that occurred as a result of this incident, you'll have to come to the police department to show me the damage so I can appropriately document it. Do you understand what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
So at any point in time, you can arrive to the Gretna Police Department and meet with the supervisor, and they can take pictures of any damage or anything like that. We can also take your written complaint and move it forward to internal affairs. Is that a good enough option for you?
I guess, but first they said it was criminal trespassing. Then they turned around and said criminal mischief, but I didn't damage anything.
So neither one of those statutes need to have any type of damage to property as an element of that crime. So when I asked you if this solution would be good enough for you, you said you guessed. What would be an appropriate solution in your eyes?
I don't know. I don't know what's the best thing to do.
Okay, well, our typical procedures on something like this is their direct supervisor, which is me. I would review the incident and check for any department policies and or civil rights violations. And then if you do come in to make the written complaint and show us the damage, and if any of it's found at least sustained at that point, it would get pushed up to internal affairs for further review. The officers would face discipline action from the department at that point.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything else that I could do that you think would be better to assist you in this matter?
That's it.
Okay. Now, keep in mind, as a result of your arrest, you do have a pending court date.
Yes.
If you do to argue the legality of your arrest, that is done through the court.
Okay.
I can only handle any department violations and or civil rights violations. Okay. I cannot do anything about the law because probable cause was already found for your arrest. A judge is the only person that can overturn that and find you innocent or guilty. Okay.
Okay.
So I would advise you to adhere to your court date. If you wish to argue or challenge any of the charges that were levied against you. Otherwise, you just report to the Gretna Police Department with your damaged property, and we can present you with the form to sign, and you can make your written complaint, okay?
All right.
All right, thank you, Miss Candy. You have a great night.
See, they all being like abusive and rude. Dang, I was trying to keep this under 10 minutes. So, yeah, I mean, well, how are we supposed to know if the laws are different in one city or different in one state? And, me dealing with homelessness and dealing with being targeted and dealing with the gang stalking. And, as I said, the online stalkers bragged and laughed about how they were the ones to call up and lie and say that it was their property, when not the stalkers, not their property. So, they bragged about, the gang stalking setup. And y'all heard that soon as there was no noise, but soon as I got on the phone with the police officer, they had a truck out there that did that beeping noise with the noise harassment. And that kind of held me up and threw off my concentration. And I've been days worth of sleep deprived. But I hate when people try to talk about, oh, ignorance is no excuse in the eyes of the law or whatever. But then those same police officers and law enforcement who think that they're doing right or whatever, when on a spiritual level, when they die and end up going to hell, they're gonna be surprised, and they're gonna feel like, oh, this is unfair. They should, and stuff like that. So. But I mean, people in their arrogance and self-righteousness, and the officers, they didn't even say, oh, we're going to take you to jail because you were trespassing. They said, oh, well, if you don't answer our questions, then you're going to go to jail. If you don't answer our questions, you're going to go to jail or whatever. But, as I said, dealing with this, I figured that this has something to do with the gang stalking setups, and I was sleep deprived and all upset and everything, and then spent another sleepless night because I was in jail. I mean, totally sleepless night because I was in jail. So, I mean, if they wouldn't have gangs, I mean, and it's like, gang stalkers knowingly and willfully commit crimes, and the police be part of it. So why aren't y'all locking these people up, these perps up? And I try to tell what happened, like the nights led up to that, and he cut me off and said, "Well, I don't want to hear about those previous nights. I just want to hear about what happened that night." And you see that they had an attitude, rushed me off the phone, and everything like that. So I'm going to get off here.